The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. orders the Department of Education to intensify efforts in improving the country's performance in the recently concluded program for international student assessment. The broadcast firm Sunshine Media Network International, also known as SMNI, urges the National Telecommunications Commission to specify and detail their alleged franchise violations. German Foreign Minister highlights the importance of adhering to international law amid China's aggressions in the West Philippine Sea. And the Maldives and China revamped their relationship, signing 20 key agreements after the inaugural state visit of the newly elected president of the former to Beijing. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, January 11, 2024. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Hardin Delgado. First in the news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. convenes with Department of Education Secretary and Vice President Sara Duterte with other officials to discuss the Philippines' 2022 performance in the recently concluded program for International Student Assessment or PISA in a sectoral meeting in Malacañang Palace. During the meeting, President Marcos Jr. reiterates the crucial importance of improving the country's education system. Nelma Ribuhok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. directed the Department of Education or DepEd to continue efforts to improve the country's performance in the Program for International Student Assessment or PISA. During a sectoral meeting in Malacañang, President Marcos wanted DepEd to focus on improving teachers' teaching quality and competency, nutrition, addressing campus bullying, and aiding teachers on specializations.
Kaya talagang si President, ang instruction niya, tutukan natin yung teacher support and teacher quality, yung bullying sa school, at saka yung nutrition. So it's more about what we can do moving forward so we can improve the performance of our students.
According to the latest PISA results, the Philippines has remained consistent, neither improving nor regressing, with only a single digit in significant changes in the subject areas of mathematics, reading, and science from 2018 to 2022, despite the COVID-19 pandemic. DepEd Undersecretary Michael Powa raised the President's directive on the need to update teachers' know-how with regard to technology.
We will really train all of our teachers kasi nga marami nang nagbago ng technology even in a span of a year. No, marami nagbabago. Like ngayon, sabi nga natin, meron na tayong AI, hindi ba? So that's something we are looking at.
The government allotted 5.6 billion pesos budget last year for the school-based feeding program and augmented it to 11.7 billion pesos this year, Yusek Powa explained. Adding the increase in budget will allow the agency to carry out the feeding program throughout the year. The PISA, developed by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, is designed to assess the extent to which students have acquired key knowledge and skills essential for full participation in social and economic life. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The first batch of overseas Filipino workers from Israel arrived in Manila today, January 11. This group, consisting of 28 caregivers, marks the initial repatriation for the year 2024. Unfortunately, one individual was unable to return home and remained in Israel due to a health condition. The total number of volunteers repatriated OFWs based in Israel has now reached 463. These repatriates will receive a total of 125,000 pesos in financial assistance from various agencies, including the Department of Labor and Employment, Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, Department of Social Welfare and Development, and Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. In addition to financial aid, the repatriates will undergo training and receive livelihood assistance. The broadcast firm Sunshine Media Network International, also known as SMNI, has called upon the National Telecommunications Commissioner NTC to provide specific details regarding its alleged franchise violations. Dante Amento tells us why.
Legal counsels for Sunshine Media Network International or SMNI are facing a challenge in responding to the show cause order issued by the National Telecommunications Commission or NTC. The specifics of the alleged violations on the Certificate of Public Convenience or franchise by the broadcast company remain unclear.
Sinagot namin yung show cause order. Ang katanungan dito, ano bang kasalanan namin? Itanong ba namin kay Madam Auring ito o kay, bago na ngayon, no, Hans Kua? Kasi hindi namin alam eh. Sabihan nyo kami kung anong kasalanan namin.
In response, SMNI filed a motion for a bill of particulars on Thursday, January 11, urging the NTC to specify and detail the violations and attach documentary evidence as proof thereof.
Indicate nila ano yung mga violations namin para ma-prepare namin yung mga kasagutan ng alleged violations.
NTC, on the other hand, said they would study the SMNI's motions and ensure to resolve the same through its rules of procedure. Meanwhile, two separate pleadings also filed by SMNI before the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board or MTRCB. SMNI seeks to reverse the agency's recent suspension order against its two programs hosted by former President Rodrigo Duterte and Lorraine Badoy and Jeffrey Celis. Its constitutional rights to freedom of expression and of the press are allegedly violated.
Huwag kayo maging balat sibuyas. Yun lang ang sinasabi natin dito. Ngayon, kung ang isang programa no, nagkakamali, kasi lahat tayo nagkakamali naman eh, ay isasara mo yung buong network, naku, walang matira dito.
In response to these pleas, MTRCB has announced that they will thoroughly review SMNI's motion for reconsideration. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Philippine National Police or PNP is set to shift its focus on both supply and demand reduction in this year's anti-illegal drug campaign. PNP Chief Police General Benjamin Acorda Jr. announced that they will intensify and adopt a more aggressive approach in the fight against illegal drugs.
We gave emphasis on the implementations of the projects that we wanted it done, especially on the legal drugs. Pinagtutuunan na pa rin natin ang pansin because we know very well that the illegal drugs remains a problem when it comes to criminality. Maraming crimes na i-relate dyan.
General Acorda emphasized that the PNP will actively pursue drug personalities, including police officers involved in the illegal drug trade. The internal cleansing within their ranks will also persist, building on last year's efforts that resulted in the dismissal of 985 policemen from the service due to various irregularities. Of this number, 108 were dismissed specifically due to their involvement in illegal drugs.
And for the news abroad, 21 drones and missiles fired by the Houthi towards the Red Sea on Tuesday were shot down by United States and United Kingdom naval forces. It was the largest attack to be staged by the militant group during the war between Israel and Hamas that has now lasted 3 months. RK Llorca will tell us why live. Yes, RK?
Good evening, Joselito. The Israel-Hamas war in Gaza that has gone on for 3 months has spilled over into other parts of the Middle East. On Tuesday, January 9, the United States and United Kingdom navies shot down 21 drones and missiles fired by Houthis targeting the southern Red Sea in what is believed to be the Yemen-based group's largest attack during the war. British Defense Secretary Grant Shapps stated the situation cannot continue and cannot be allowed to continue, while hinting at further measures to protect international shipping lanes. No injuries nor damage were reported from the 26th Houthi attack on commercial shipping lanes plying the Red Sea since November 2019, according to U.S. Central Command. Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Sari later appeared on television and disclosed they have fired a large number of ballistic and naval missiles and drones at a U.S. ship which was providing support to Israel. He, however, did not say when the attack happened or if the vessel suffered any damage in what he called a preliminary response to an earlier U.S. attack that caused the death of 10 Houthi fighters. No immediate comment has been provided by the U.S. Fifth Fleet base in the Gulf region, who jointly deployed naval forces with Britain. The attacks by the Houthis on the key route between Europe and Asia have seriously affected international commerce, as it accounts for around 15% of the world's shipping. The Houthis have vowed to continue attacks until Israel stops the conflict in Gaza, warning U.S. warships will be attacked in retaliation if they were targeted. Rival shipping lines Hapag-Lloyd and Maersk have advised they will avoid the Suez Canal and Cape of Good Hope route in the foreseeable future. Joselito, the conflict has prompted retailers around the world to stock up on goods and seek alternative ways to avoid empty shelves in the coming spring season. Back to you, Joselito.
Thank you, Arkale Yorko, reporting live from Thailand. Several United States lawmakers have co-sponsored legislation to support Taiwan's democracy as it prepares for the upcoming presidential and parliamentary elections. This move has sparked a strong reaction from China, urging the U.S. to halt official communication with Taiwan. Ruth Baya tells us why.
At least 28 Republican and Democratic sponsors in the United States Senate joined forces to support a resolution on Wednesday, January 10, emphasizing the importance of supporting Taiwan's self-defense and the liberty of its people. The resolution highlights Taiwan's rule of law and vibrant civil society, diverse economy, and stable political system, and contrasts that with China's situation. This occurs in the midst of an escalated exchange of verbal attacks between Taiwan and China, with Taiwan accusing China of an unprecedented campaign of election interference through military activity and trade sanctions. Meanwhile, China firmly opposes U.S. involvement with Taiwan and demands the country to refrain from interfering in its elections. The U.S. is Taiwan's most important international backer and arms supplier, despite the absence of formal diplomatic relations. Negotiations on President Joe Biden's request for billions of dollars in security assistance for Taiwan last year are ongoing, with Republicans insisting on tying it into an overhaul of U.S. immigration policy. Both Republicans and Democrats in the House of Representatives have introduced a similar resolution on Taiwan, demonstrating bipartisan support for the issue. Taiwan's de facto ambassador to the United States met with House Speaker Mike Johnson, leading complaint from China, which considers Taiwan to be a sensitive and significant issue in Sino-U.S. relations. Ruth Bahe, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A European ally of the Philippines has expressed concern on the rising tensions in the South China Sea with China's aggressions in the West Philippine Sea. Earlier today, January 11, Germany Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock had a meeting with Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo as part of her visit to the Philippines. There, she cited several incidents initiated by Chinese vessels, such as the laser pointing and water cannon incidents and the collision with a Philippine vessel. The two officials vowed to strengthen Germany and Philippines' cooperation and adherence to international law.
Strengthening our friends and partners like the Philippines and others, what I said about the Coast Guard, making clear that the compliance with international law is the best guarantee for every state in the world to be protected.
I thank Foreign Minister Baerbock for Germany's unflinching support for international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and the final and legally binding 2016 Arbitral Award, the twin anchors of the Philippine position on the West Philippine Sea.
Baerbock also visited the Philippine Coast Guard or PCG headquarters in Manila and boarded BRP Gabriela Silang. There, the German official tested one of the drones that Germany donated in 2022. PCG Commandant Admiral Ronnie Gavan says this will be used for post-disaster assessment and maritime surveillance. He adds Germany has also committed to support PCG and boost its capabilities through additional training programs and equipment.
Gagamitin natin sa search and rescue operations para gamitin natin sa marine pollution response. Gagamitin din natin, of course, sa West Philippine Sea, sa Benham Rise, sa ating areas doon sa South para ma-improve ang ating maritime domain awareness, para mas efficient, mas targeted ang ating operations.
The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines emphasized that the Cebu-Negros-Panay Backbone Project, designed to interconnect transmission lines from Cebu to Panay Island, is not positioned as a solution to prevent power outages. JP Nunez details why.
During today's hearing at the lower house regarding the extensive power outages in Panay Island on January 2, Iloilo City Representative Julian Baronda queried the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines or NGCP about whether the Cebu-Negros Panay Backbone Project or CNP could prevent future power outages in Panay.
Assured ba tayo hindi na magkakaroon ng blackout kung matapos itong Cebu-Negros Panay?
The NGCP clarified that the CNP project, a 238-kilometer transmission line connecting Cebu, Negros, and Panay Island, would not serve as a solution to prevent power outages in Panay.
There are power interruptions that are not all related to transmission.
So meaning the answer is no. Mr.
The Department of Energy or DOE had previously asserted that the CNP project could have averted the 4-day power outages in Panay if the NGCP had completed it on time. During the congressional session, the DOE emphasized that the NGCP had rescheduled the completion of the CNP project 10 times and faced delays in multiple transmission line projects in Visayas. The NGCP committed to finish the CNP project by March this year.
When the April 2023 blackout happened, NGCP committed, I think, in public pa, in Congress also, that they will finish on August 2023. Tapos nangyari to, but the next commitment, the 10th commitment is March 2024.
Additionally, Congressman Baronda urged the Energy Regulatory Commission or ERC to assist the NGCP in expediting the Mindoro-Panay Interconnection Project, aiming to connect the transmission lines of Luzon to Panay Island for a stable electricity supply.
Under sa, di ba sinabi nyo, 2036 to 2040 pa ang Mindoro Panay Interconnection Project. Wala ba kayong plano na unahin din ito dahil sa nangyari recently, 2 blackout na sa Panay Island? Hindi ba pwede gawin nyo ting priority?
Yes, we will prioritize it once it's filed. Wala pa pong application sa amin yung project na yan.
The NGCP set a target to link the Batangas and Mindoro grids by the end of 2025.
We are targeting December 2025, but we have dependencies on the right of way for this project.
If the NGCP fails to fulfill its commitment to ensure an adequate power supply for consumers, the Congress may consider filing a resolution to revoke their franchise.
We are one, and we are not afraid in filing a resolution to conduct investigation to review your franchise.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Supreme Court, through its Office of the Bar Chairperson, has officially scheduled the filing period for applications for the 2024 bar examinations. Prospective candidates can submit their applications from January 15 until April 5, 2024. All new applicants are required to create a bar applicant registration system and tech assistance or barista individual account for the application process. The application fee for the 2024 bar examinations is set at 12,800 pesos. Furthermore, the Supreme Court has assured that it will establish local testing centers, or LTCs, in key cities in the National Capital Region, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao to facilitate the examination process. Mark your calendars, as this year's bar exams are scheduled to take place on September 8, 11, and 15, 2024. Despite the fact that COVID-19 is no longer classified as a global health emergency, the World Health Organization, or WHO, emphasizes that the virus is still actively circulating, mutating, and causing fatalities. The WHO reported an increase in transmission in December, attributed to gatherings during the holiday period. In the same month, almost 10,000 deaths were reported, along with a surge in hospitalizations and ICU admissions. The Department of Health, or DOH, in response says they are maintaining a vigilant stance against COVID-19. The DOH is monitoring COVID-19 cases as part of the broader category of influenza-like and respiratory illnesses. In the Philippines, the DOH notes a consistent trend of low transmission rates and fatalities, with the majority of cases being mild.
In other global news, the newly elected president of the Maldives has solidified a comprehensive partnership with China during his first state visit to Beijing. This development comes at a time when diplomatic ties between the Maldives and India are facing challenges. Paul Gatchalian tells us the details live. Yes, Paul, good evening.
Good evening, Joserito. Maldives and China have amended their relationship to a more comprehensive one following Maldives' newly elected President Mohamed Muizzu's first state visit in Beijing on Wednesday, January 10. The two countries signed a 20 key agreements which include tourism cooperation, disaster risk reduction, and blue economy, among others, all under the Comprehensive Strategic Cooperation Partnership, which, according to President Muizzu, is, quote, a historic opportunity to carry forward the past and forge ahead into the future, unquote. Now, Maldives have a growing clash with India's, China's regional rival, and have casted India as a threat to its sovereignty during Muizzu's India Out presidential campaign. Indian military were asked to leave Maldives since Muizzu stepped into the office, and all the while welcoming Chinese investors despite being heavily indebted to Beijing, costing about $1.37 billion. Meanwhile, as China seeks more partnership to better their economic challenges, Beijing have welcomed the new alliance with wide arms and calling Maldives an old friend. Chinese President Xi Jinping has already increased the number of direct flights between the two countries to boost both their tourism. About 79% of Maldives' economic growth in 2022 came from the tourism sector. Back to you, Joselito.
Thank you, Paul Gatchalian, reporting live from New Zealand. North Korea is reportedly considering the sale of novel missile type to Russia, potentially intensifying geopolitical tensions ahead of the South Korean and United States elections, according to South Korea's Defense Minister Shin Won-sik. Shin emphasized North Korea's financial motives, stating that the country is actively marketing new weapons sought by Russia. During a recent visit to munitions factories, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un inspected close-range ballistic missiles, fueling speculations of recent developments in this armament. While North Korea had initially declared its intent to deploy these missiles to frontline troops, there are concerns that they might be sold to Russia, especially in light of the suspected recent sales of short-range ballistic missiles. The visit occurred amid international condemnations of Russia's alleged procurement and use of North Korean ballistic missiles in the conflict with Ukraine. The situation raises concerns about the potential ramifications of North Korea's weapon proliferations and testing activities on regional stability. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Joselito Liquido, live from Malaysia. Good evening.
The Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, has recently unveiled a free scholarship program aimed at assisting drivers and operators of jeepneys who may be affected by the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program. However, it has come to light that some drivers are still unaware of this beneficial opportunity. Jed Neresina will tell us why.
The Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, has expressed its support for the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program, or PUVMP. Acknowledging the potential impact on individuals' livelihoods, TESDA has announced a free skills training initiative for drivers and operators affected by the program. According to TESDA's statement, displaced drivers and operators can avail themselves of free technical vocational skills training, assessment, and certification under the Chuper Scholar program. Additionally, beneficiaries are entitled to receive a training allowance of 350 pesos per day for 35 days. TESDA encourages those affected to visit any TESDA office to inquire about and avail themselves of the scholarship program. However, it has come to light that not all jeepney drivers and operators are aware of this opportunity. Individuals like Jess expressed their lack of awareness about the government's offering.
Bibigyan nga nila kami ng libre. Ano ba yung libre na sinasabi na para sa aming mga driver? At yung ba libre na sinasabi nila, sasapat ba sa ginagawa namin sa araw-araw sa karsada?
This is also the question of jeepney driver Mang Jun. While being in favor of the program, he seeks to know more details.
Ano ba yung in-offer nila? Wala naman tayo naririnig na in-offer nila. Baka mamaya dressmaking yan, hindi naman tayo pwede yan. Kung meron, bakit hindi? Maganda yan eh. Kaso wala pa, ano ba in-offer nila course? Malaking tulong yan kahit pa paano.
Upon learning about the training allowance provided by TESDA, Jess expressed concern that it might not be sufficient to cover their basic expenses. With daily earnings of 500 pesos from his jeep, he emphasized that it falls short of meeting their daily needs.
Yung 500 na kinikita namin dito pagpahirapan, kulang na kulang eh. Lalo kung sa isang anak lang po yung kulang pa eh. Yung 500 na dito pahirapan pag kumikita kami. Yung pan 350, hindi po sasapat yun, lalo kung kami lahat ng driver dito ay nangungupahan, binabayaran lahat ng mga kailangan bayaran sa loob ng tahanan. Hindi po sapat yun.
This sentiment echoes the sentiments of many drivers and operators who are requesting clearer information on what they should expect from the government's PUV modernization program, particularly in terms of TESDA's free skills training. Jed Neresina, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In a recent operation by the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, several government vehicles and prominent personalities were apprehended for unauthorized entry into the EDSA busway. The incident occurred during the MMDA's morning operation near the vicinity of the Corinthians Garden Ortigas flyover. Notable vehicles included those of senators, congressmen, police personnel, government officials, and even a basketball player.
Kukuha na po ako ng lisensya. So alam po, naghihintay po akong sahod po. Gusto lang po i-drive yung motor ko eh. Na-excite po ako.
Boss, kailan po ako napadaan doon sa... Lagi naman ako dumadaan sa lane na yun kasi bago pa pumasok sa bus lane, pumapasok na ako dito sa Pidara na ako doon eh. Alam ko naman may nanguhuli. Kasi pagdaan ko dyan kanina, may nanguhuli na eh.
Madali po.
Bakit po?
May nahabol lang na oras. May nahabol lang po ako. Opo.
The MMDA emphasized that many accidents arise from motorists entering the busway without proper authorization. The absence of fences and posts guarding the flyovers and tunnels becomes a temptation for motorists to cross into the busway. Despite the ongoing operations, motorists caught in the act often cite reasons such as being unaware, rushing, or attempting to overtake other vehicles. In response, the MMDA announced plans to intensify their operations on the busway to curb unauthorized entries and enhance overall safety.
Well, makikita naman natin, despite the fact na sabi nga natin mayroong mga sariling mga government vehicles ang nagbabiolate, still nakikita naman ng publiko na talagang totoo ang pagpapatupad natin ng batas, na wala tayong pinipili, kahit na mapagobyerno, mapapersonalidad man sa ating society, we will implement it fair and square po. Alam naman natin ang flyovers and tunnels, napakahirap pong i-operate yan. At wala naman tayong tauhan na naka-fix post po dyan, sa mga, lalo na sa mga flyover. Unang-una, napakadelikado. Pangalawa po, napakainit po niyan, wala pong sisilungan ng ating mga tauhan.
The second round eliminations of the UNTV Cup Season 10 are now in full swing. 4 teams have bid their farewells, gracefully bowing out of the competition. Meanwhile, 10 teams remain, set to battle it out in a thrilling crossover format from Group A and Group B. Yesterday saw intense matchups with SSS Kabalikat, DA Food Masters, and DNR Warriors emerging victorious in their respective games. JP Nunez reports.
In a stunning display of determination, SSS Kabalikat showcased their grit to secure a spot in the finals of UNTV Cup Season 10. Listian Amparado led the charge with a double-double performance, scoring 20 points, grabbing 14 boards, and making 2 steals. For this outstanding effort, Amparado was rightfully named the best player of the game. Jeffrey Sanders led the Senate's offense in the first quarter with 6 points, but Amparado's 10 points narrowed the gap, leaving the Senate with a slim 18-21 lead. Maintaining control in the second quarter, the Senate held a 7-point advantage, leading 31-38. However, the SSS team bounced back in the third quarter, limiting the defenders to a 6-point lead, with the score at 47-44 in favor of SSS. In a nail-biting last quarter, the defenders and Kabalikat went head-to-head. With less than 4 minutes on the clock, the defenders held a narrow lead at 55-50. However, in a stunning turn of events, Kabalikat managed to snatch the lead with just 42.99 seconds remaining, making it 61-57. Despite the Senate's efforts to stage a comeback, they fell short, finishing the game with 57 points as the buzzer sounded, securing a come-from-behind victory for SSS with a final score of 61-57 in the second game.
Medyo hindi ako satisfied sa panalo kasi I know we work really hard for this game. Pero win is a win, So back to zero, babalikan namin yung videos kung ano yung mali namin. Kasi all the time naghahabol kami.
Meanwhile, in another exciting match, DA Food Masters handed a defeat to the Malacanang PMS Trail Blazers with a final score of 87-82. Despite trailing by 15 points in the first half, 37-52, Food Masters regrouped during the second half.
Second half, nag-wake up, medyo gumanda na sa depensa.
According to Coach Jojo Castillo, they had become too relaxed during the first half, prompting the need for adjustments.
Konting gising lang naman medyo sabi ko nga masyadong mataas ang kumpiyansa. Yung 5 straight wins nung first round, hindi biro So mataas yung kumpiyansa mabuti. Kailangan mo lang talagang i-wake up.
Leading the charge for the Food Masters were EJ De Guzman, contributing 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. And Sean Cristoperco, who recorded 18 points, 11 boards, and 2 blocks. Coach Michael Jimenez expressed regret for not maintaining momentum until the end of the game, but acknowledged the team's overall effort.
Sayang, napakalaking sayang. Lumamang na kami pero wala na nag-shift yung momentum na bago. Kaya hindi naka-recover. Pero good game pa rin sa mga players ko.
In the third game, the DENR Warriors were resolute in not starting their year with a loss. They secured a hard-fought victory against the GSIS Furies in a cardiac game, ending with a final score of 81-77. The 2-point guards of DENR, Rodel Vergara and Mark Cesar Bruno, played crucial roles in the team's success. Vergara collected 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks, while Bruno contributed 14 points, 4 boards, 7 dimes, and 2 blocks.
Well, napaka-exciting ng laro at talagang na-challenge kami sa game ng GSIS. Maganda yung coaching staff nila, maganda yung style nila. Talagang nahirapan kami, but congratulations sa mga players and coaching staff. Talagang pinagplanuhan din namin at saka nag-aral kami paano namin sila matatalo.
As of now, the DENR Warriors lead the standings with a 6-1 win-loss record, sharing the top spot with the Agriculture Food Masters. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasambahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verses 6 to 7, it says, "Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." And those are the reasons behind the news, January 11, 2024. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold, because we need to know. We will always ask why. I'm Harleen Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.